will be done in DC as it is in heaven. But probably there was a deep-seated fear that if you fail once, it might be an anomaly. If you fail twice, it might be saying something about you. And so that morning just ended up praying a perimeter around Capitol Hill. And it turned into a 4.7-mile prayer walk. And the truth is, nothing happened. But fast forward 28 years, and I can't explain this. I never thought we would own property. Not when property costs $23 million an acre, if you can find an acre. And we met and rented facilities for more than 20 years. 28 years later, we own 6 properties on that prayer circle, worth about $85 million, and we own them debt-free. Now, why I share that is a testament to God's faithfulness. And I want to say a couple of things. God owns the cattle on 1,000 hills, and he owns the hills. I want to say that the miracle's in the house. Our first 15 years, do you know that only one gift that was a 5-digit gift? It was a $42,000 gift, which was amazing. But we were 80% single 20-somethings. Like you can't buy property or build something on that kind of budget. And so 15 years, there wasn't really much evidence of the ability to do this. And then a $3 million gift. And then a $14 million gift. What I want to say today is that the miracle is in the house. But here's the key. You know, when we got that first gift, the person who gave it said, we're giving this gift because you have vision beyond your resources. Now listen, we budget to 90% of the previous year's income. We run a tight financial house. We pinch pennies and make no apologies for that. But don't you dare let your budget determine your vision. You need a vision that's larger. Why? Because a God-sized dream, by definition, is going to be beyond your ability and beyond your resources. So what you're going to find is yourself in a desperate situation where you might have to circle for 7 days. Say, God, where are you? How is this going to happen? So that first property, pretty fun. I walked by one day a crack house, and I felt like God said this crack house would make a great coffee house. And do you know that we circled it for 5 years? 5 years. We found out after that 4 people offered more money for it than we did. 2 of them real estate developers. So how did we get it? Matthew 18, what you bind on earth will be bound in heaven. Now, careful. Every prayer has to meet a 2-fold litmus test in the will of God and for the glory of God. If it's not, it's a non-starter. If it is, game on. Let's pray with humility and authority. So we circled it for 5 years, and I'll just say this. The Holy Spirit plus caffeine equals awesome. And it's pretty fun because we had no business going into the coffee business. But listen, God doesn't call the qualified, he qualifies the called. And so God will often call you into something that you feel like you have no business. But you know what? What's fun is that we give every penny a profit to kingdom causes. It helped us build a DC Dream Center in Ward 7 of our city that desperately needs it, where we operate 64 programs for youth and kids, and it is changing that part of our city. So we bought this city block, and short version, once again, we're in over our head. But God has blessings in categories you can't conceive of. God's vision for your ministry is bigger than yours. And so what we have to do is just continue to press in and pray through. Like if 28 years has taught me anything, it might be this. Without the Holy Spirit, I'm below average. But with the Holy Spirit, all things are possible. When you pray like it depends on God and work like it depends on you, miracles are going to happen. Why? Because God is going to do things that you can't take credit for. And it just felt like when I woke up this morning, I'm like, it's the National Day of Prayer. Why don't we talk about prayer for 30 minutes and just see what the Lord might have for us? See, here's the deal. You're going to walk away from this conference. And by the way, can we just thank Pastor Ray and the entire team? Like, what an effort to pull this off. I mean, just so inspired by what the Lord's doing here and so incredibly encouraged. And so here's what's going to happen. You're going to be in these sessions and you're going to be in breakouts and you're going to get all of these ideas and hopefully, because good ideas are good, but God ideas change the course of history. So I'd rather have one God idea than a good idea. So my prayer is that the Holy Spirit would fire your synapses in these days together and you would just discern there would be some kind of dream that would be conceived. Wouldn't that be amazing? Yes. That during this conference, God would put a Jericho in your heart. And it might not be a city block over here. It might be a prodigal over there. You're not going to give up on it. You're going to keep praying for them. So I don't know what it is for you, but here's kind of a homework assignment. And you could do this at the hotel later tonight. You could do it when you get home. But here's kind of a final homework assignment or challenge. Do you know the name Gypsy Smith? Gypsy was born 1860 on the outskirts of London. This incredible evangelist. Never received a formal education. Lectured at Harvard. Grew up in a gypsy tent, invited to the White House on 2 occasions by presidents, crisscrossed the Atlantic Ocean 45 times, preached to millions of people. Millions of people found faith in Christ because of his ministry. And so one day he's at a gathering not unlike this, and a delegation kind of cornered him and said, how can we make the kind of difference, have the kind of impact that you've had? And I love his answer. It never gets old to me. Happened to me again this morning. I woke up with a tremendous burden of prayer. I found myself on my knees in my hotel room, saying, God, unless you do it, it can't be done. This is what Gypsy said. He said, go home. Don't leave before the conference is over. He said, go home. Lock yourself in your room. Take a piece of chalk and draw a circle in the middle of the floor. Then kneel in that circle and pray brokenly and fervently that God would send revival in that circle. Lord, the kingdom potential in this room, the gifts and the anointings, some faithfulness for many, many decades, others just starting a ministry journey. God, I believe for such a time as this and such a place as this, that you called us, you appointed us and anointed us. Lord, I know our first ministry is to you. And our horizontal ministry can only go as wide as our vertical ministry goes deep. And so, God, I pray that you would raise up a generation of leaders that believe in the power of prayer, that are willing to circle cities, that are willing to circle dreams and promises. We have a hard time believing God for cities, and God said, ask of me and I will give the nations. So Lord, here we are again, praying brokenly and fervently. God, would you send revival? Would you let it start in each one of our hearts? In Jesus' name. Would you add an amen? Amen, and God bless you.
Yeah. Give it up for Mark Batterson one time. Mark, thank you so much. I got to tell Mark before session, his book, In a Pit with a Lion on a Snowy Day, actually changed the direction of my life. So I'm so appreciative of you and what's going on in D.C., and you got to hear so much of that story today. Little did we know, we are going to go back to back here, kind of like a Drake freestyle. We're going to go back to back, and we're going to fill these luxury boxes because Dr. Phil is going to come out in about, I don't know, let's say 90 seconds.
Like right now.
Okay? All right. Who are we going to fill it with?
We want to fill, who's our biggest Dr. Phil fans in the room? I want big fans. Okay. I don't want like jump up on the stage fans. I want
hey,
sit in a luxury box. Okay, this group right here.
Let's bring her up.
There's 5 seats. 5 seats.
Hey,
Les, come on up.
Let's bring her up right here.
All right, you and 5 friends. You and 4 friends. You're right here.
Yep. All right.
No, I got them. They're coming on up in this one.
So are we clear over here?
We're clear over here, and we're clear over here. Is that a jar of kosher pickles you got? Super warm.
This man is carrying a jar of pickles.
I'd love to know what Dr. Phil has to say about that.
I don't know. All right, listen. Hey, we can actually get 2 more people down here.
Oh, yeah.
Do it, 2.
All right, come on down. Come on down.
All right. Hey, listen, if any of you try to get on the stage, we will tase you and drag your butt out of here, okay?
So.
All right. Could you give it up for Ray Johnston and Dr. Phil this afternoon?
Is something going on here? Are you Dr. Phil fanatics? Yes! Wow. All right, so I have the privilege of interviewing Dr. Phil, which means we get to interview the guy that interviews everybody. This is gonna be fun, okay? So I'm gonna start by doing this. For introduction, I wanna give you 16 facts about Dr. Phil and ask you to pick out the one that's not true. You ready? Number 1, he was once a former football star. He played linebacker and had a scholarship at the University of Tulsa. Number 2, he was discovered by Oprah when he helped her win a lawsuit in 1998. His son Jordan is a well-known recording artist. He has opened for the Jonas Brothers. Dr. Phil is actually a real doctor. He got an undergrad degree, and then 4 years later, which is impressive, he completed a PhD in psychology. Dr. Phil doesn't drink. Dr. Phil is the former men's doubles tennis. That room got really quiet.
Me neither, but they feel sorry for us.
That's good. Dr. Phil is the former men's doubles tennis champion at Wichita Country Club. Dr. Phil has received awards from MAD, Mothers Against Drunk Driving. Dr. Phil has received 31 Emmy nominations. In 2006, he was honored with the coveted presidential citation by the American Psychological Association for his significant contributions to the field of psychology. Dr. Phil and his wife, Robin, have been married for more than 47 years.
Wow.
His other son, Jay, is an Emmy Award-winning writer and New York Times best-selling author. He once performed on stage with a popular punk rock band, Good Charlotte.
And we found the one that's not true.
Number 13. He's a pilot and flies his own plane. Next one. In 2020, he received a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. Dr. Phil served in the parking lot ministry at Pastor Ed Young's church in Texas.
That's how you get some real truth right there.
That's right. And number 16, Dr. Phil made a cameo appearance in Scary Movie 4. Ladies and gentlemen, which one's not true? Ladies and gentlemen, they are all true. There is nobody else like this on planet Earth, so would you get on your feet and give a remarkable thrive welcome to Dr. Phil.
Welcome.
Well, hello. So, how's everybody doing? Yeah, we'll see about that.
Hey, for the record,
All right.
Kevin and I have never had so many people videoing us.
No, that's exactly right. That's exactly right.
I was thinking it's you and me, but maybe not.
Maybe not.
So-
Well, Phil, welcome to town. So
Well,
great to have you.
thank both of you for having me. I cannot tell you how excited I am to be here, and I'm very sincere about that. I'm sure that's the cool thing to say, but I mean it. So thank you for having me.
Absolutely.
I mean it.
You have a Amazon bestseller out right now. We've Got Issues. They can get it out in the bookstore, by the way, for $20. Online it's $35. And not to make you nervous in any way, but 32,999 places behind you on Amazon is me. And so I'm coming after you.
There it is.
So just beware.
The problem is, Kevin, the gap is growing.
That's exactly.
Well, I was hearing footsteps. Now I know what it is.
Now you know. Now you know what it is. Hey, so I mean, I feel like I know you, right? Because I've seen you for so long. Let's just start kind of with what we all want to know.
All right.
What's the craziest thing you've ever experienced on your show?
Besides this?
Yes.
We're going to be in the running when we're done.
Well, you know, it's not any one thing. The craziest thing that I've experienced is I go in there every day thinking I've seen it all. I do. I'll go and I'll tell Robin, we'll leave sometimes and be in the car going home, and I'll say, well, that tears it. I've seen it all. And then I'll walk in there the next morning, and I'll be in the middle of the first segment, and I'll look at her and say, no, I haven't. I just thought I had. People seem to be really creative at finding new ways to run life off in the ditch. And they keep getting better and better at it. But sometimes I think it's a crazy world, thank God. But seriously though, I'm the incurable optimist. I think no matter how bad people run it off in the ditch, I'm always inspired by the fact that they keep reaching out for help. They keep looking for answers. And that inspires me. No matter how far down they are, they keep reaching out for help. And that's got to inspire you, you know. It really gives me hope.
Yep. So you've had tens of thousands of guests on your show. Haven't invited Kevin yet, but that's why his book's doing so badly. Of all the folks, so if you could pick one or two of your favorite guests ever, who would they be?
You know, it's really a category of guests more than one guest, and it's those that don't have a voice, and usually that's young people, because I see young people that oftentimes they're caught in the middle of a custody battle, for example, or they have parents that are right fighters, and they just keep going back and forth and back and forth, and I see these children caught in the middle of it, and I feel so badly for them. And I know if they had the voice and the ability, I know they would just say, would you people please just shut up? Would you just shut up for 5 minutes, please? And so I say that for them. And, you know, for a while I was in private practice and I did marital therapy. I was the worst marital therapist you've ever seen in your life. Everybody I saw got a divorce. Because I had no patience for it. They would come in and I would listen for a minute and talk to them. I say, I can't stand either one of you. No wonder you can't get along. And so I decided that wasn't my calling. I had to do something different, which is why I wound up doing what I was doing. But I love giving a voice to those people that don't have it.
Oh, that's good.
So, Phil, you and I are probably the only two people in the room who have ever been to Veneta, Oklahoma, is my guess. And so, obviously, there's a place...
Very close to Miami.
Very close to Miami, exactly, not Miami. So, there's a place for Stanford and Oxford and Rhodes. There's a place for education, no question. But your latest book is about common sense. Because there's also a place for some truth that people in Veneta, Oklahoma truly know, even though they don't have the degrees that are behind it. This is a room full of people of common sense. Why is that so important in the day in which we live?
Well, that is such a well-crafted and layered question that I could be here talking about it all afternoon. But listen, right now, it's cliche to say common sense is not common enough. But when you really think about it, I believe that family in America is under attack. I think that the values that have made this country what it is, I think those values are under attack. And one of the things that is happening, and we've got issues, I call it the tyranny of the fringe. It's not even minorities, it's way beyond that. It's the fringe on either side that are making up new truths, new values that they're trying to sell. It's like we're just going to start acting like what we want to be true was true. And they're trying to rewrite science, biology, history, economics, and peddle that because it's what they want to be true. And don't you know the truth when you hear it? I mean, think about that. Don't you know the truth when you hear it? Think about this. If you've gotten a bad report from a doctor, for example, or a scary report from a doctor, and you have friends that come by and say, hey, everything will be all right, really. Hey, listen, everything will be fine. Okay, it's nice to have that support. But then there's that one friend that says, look, here's the deal. It could be A, it could be B, it could be C. And there's a way to deal with A, there's a way to deal with B, there's a way to deal with C. When we find out what it is, we will execute A, B, or C. I'll be there for you every step of the way. We will deal with reality and handle it. Would you rather have that shallow pat on the back or that friend that says, look, we'll break this down, we'll deal with it together, we'll pray about it, we'll work on it, we'll do what we need to do? That's the truth. That's what you know when you hear it. People know the truth when they hear it.
Good.
It's not just the shallow. And we need that. We need common sense. We need to sit back and say, now, wait a minute. Does that make common sense? And when you talk to people, if you will recognize the fact that they know the truth when they hear it and not be condescending and not assume you can throw something by them, I think you'll gain a lot of connection through authenticity, and people will respect you, even if it's not what they want to hear. It's what they need to hear. They will appreciate that.
So a lot of this stuff, I read this, a lot of this stuff in here jumps off the page. One of the sections, and you actually said, it's just, I'm not going to bury the lead, okay? Here are 10 principles for a healthy society. Now, you're all leaders, which means we're all trying to develop healthy churches, healthy businesses, a healthy society. Anybody here trying to raise healthy kids? Anybody here trying to raise healthy grandkids? Anybody got tens of thousands of people in your orbit? They're trying to do the same thing, and they're looking to you to help them. Okay, you had 10 principles, and they are brilliant. We don't have time, because you got to fly your own plane out here. We don't have time. But, so I just want to have you unpack 5 of them. Number 1, and these were sort of the 5 hottest ones to me. Number 1 is be who you are on purpose.
Yeah, listen, be who you are on purpose is... If you look at this, it's like, yeah, I get it. But do you really? Because I have to tell you, I learned a lot as I was doing this. It was a very introspective thing for me to write about this, because I thought, I don't like where I see this country headed or being pushed right now. I don't think we've gone over the edge. I don't think we're buying everything people are trying to sell. But the subtitle of this book is as important as the title. And this is the only book I could say that about. And the subtitle of this book is How You Can Stand Strong for America's Soul and Sanity. And think about that. How you can stand strong for America's soul and sanity. And the number 1 principle for a healthy society is to be who you are on purpose. And to do that, you have to know who you are. And that means you've got to take some time to figure out who you really are. What matters to you? What are your core values? What are you willing to sacrifice for? What are you willing to stand up for? What are you willing to stand against? Who are you willing to stand with? You know, when I first got to Hollywood, and the first time I talked about my personal faith, and I found Christ at the age of 13 at the Bayside Baptist Church in Oklahoma City, and I don't wear that on my sleeve and beat people over the head with it, but when it is appropriate and it fits, I'm willing to talk about it on the air and do. And I know some network executives happened to be there that first time I did that, and they came by afterwards and said, man, that is a great show, and this has been such a huge success. Just a little tip, we don't really talk about, personal faith and things like that on television, and this is not something that we do here. And I said, well, let me share something with you. Something you may have overlooked is there's something else different about this. The network owns all the shows in Hollywood except mine. I own my show 100%, lock, stock, and barrel. So you don't have a damn thing to say about what I talk about. So buckle up, Buttercup, because we're just getting started. And the numbers were so high, they couldn't do anything about it. So they got used to it. And I've spent a lot of time deciding who I am so I can be that on purpose. And we all have a personal truth. And let me tell you what I mean by that. It's what you think, what you know, what you feel about yourself when nobody's looking and nobody's listening. Like I came here today and Robin got me a coat and a tie. I didn't wear a tie, but she dressed me up and slicked my hair down there because I want to look credible. Like I got a suit on, I'm credible. That's my social mask. But what do I believe, think, and feel about myself when nobody's looking and nobody's listening? That's your personal truth. And if you have a damaged personal truth, that matters. And I'll tell you why this is so important. You will generate the results in life you believe you deserve. And if you believe you're a second-class citizen, if you believe God has reserved these things for other people, you will generate results that match your personal belief. I grew up with an alcoholic father. I never knew whether the electricity was going to be on when I got home or not. I never knew if the windows were going to be kicked out of the house. I had two sisters that were married 11 times between them. Now you wonder, how is that possible? Well, I'll tell you how it's possible. You start real early. You start getting married at 14, and you get that annulled, and then you do another one. And I mean, sometimes I wasn't sure which one was supposed to be married. So I had a damaged personal truth. And if you go to school and you compare your reality with his social mask, you lose every time, right? Because he's got on a clean shirt and a shiny face, and you think, well, he looks good, and I'm. You can't do that. You got to know who you are. And if your personal truth is damaged, you've got to know that needs repair. You've got to realize that somebody loves you and somebody sacrificed for that pain. And that somebody was Jesus Christ. And that somebody really paid the ultimate price for you to walk with your head high. And somehow or another, the Christian community doesn't do that. Somehow or another, it's like, yeah, we got to kind of be quiet about that. No, we don't. We need to stand up and proclaim it loudly and proudly. And that's why I say you got to be who you are on purpose, and you got to live it with intention. You have to do what you do with intention. And you say, well, my kids don't listen. They may not, but I tell you what, they are always watching. They're watching what you model. And if you go to work and you come home and you go, how was work? Oh, it's okay. You're modeling that you settle. Don't settle. Pastor was asking me before, why do you do this? I mean, he was being polite about it, but he was basically saying, you're no spring chicken. What are you doing this for?
Wait. Hold on for a second. What I basically said is we're about the same age, so... But you got the drift.
Yeah, like I said, he was saying, you're no spring chicken. What are you doing
Right.
this for? Well, because I'm very passionate about this. I'm being who I am on purpose. I could have stopped. When I stopped, and people ask me, who quits when they're number one? Well, I didn't quit. I just changed to another platform to have broader guardrails, to be able to talk more about the things I wanted to do. I went from an hour a week to 24/7 because I wanted to deliver a message really loud, really proud. And that's why I'm doing it. So principle number one is be who you are on purpose. It means looking inside so you can do that. You got to know who you are. That's a long answer to a short question. Sorry.
By the way, for the record, that's brilliant. All of us in here and all of you watching this outside and other venues here, the privilege we get when we stand up with the Word of God in a teenage setting or a whole church setting or whatever, we get to get up and speak to people who are damaged, as you said, and help course correct that with the truth of God's Word every single week, which is a transformational thing and a privilege. I'd never heard anybody put it that well. That's one of the reasons we do what we do. Yeah. So that is really strong.
That's good. So Phil, the second truth, I'm sure you're thinking culturally, but I do married life for a living. I wake up every morning thinking how we can make marriages in California better. That's called job security. Right. And so the second point that you have is we live in a culture that tries to win arguments instead of solving problems. So focus on solving problems rather than winning arguments. How does that apply not only to the nation, but also to the family?
Well, think about it. We've got a lot of right fighters in this world. We've all been right fighters at one time or another where we wanted to win the argument. We wanted to be right. Right? Right?
Right.
Wrong. No.
You can always tell whether somebody wants to win an argument versus solve a problem. Because if they want to solve a problem, you'll hear things come out of their mouth early in the conversation like, how can I help? How can I add something to this situation? How can we work together? And right now, I think we've got a lot of problems in this country. And by the way, I love America. I love this country. I'm proud to be an American. And I stand up when the flag goes by. I put my hand over my heart when they play the national anthem, and I do it proudly. And I don't like it when people don't. I'm honest. I was on the UCLA campus till the wee hours of the morning today, or last night, while they were clearing out people that were chanting death to America. And I don't like that. And I was there with law enforcement for just that reason. I think our universities are fostering intellectual rot. They're not teaching critical thinking. And I was with law enforcement working on this through the day and into the wee hours of the morning. Because I support law enforcement. I support our military. I'm very strong about that. And sometimes that's not popular, and that's okay. I'm not afflicted with the need to be loved by strangers. As long as I know that what I'm doing is the right and correct thing, and I've convicted in my heart about that, I'm good. But I think we've got a problem in this country in that we have people charged with solving problems that are not problem solvers. They're not motivated to solve problems because they need those problems in order to keep their jobs. They don't want to solve the border because if they solve the border, then they don't need border people to keep their jobs. So they're like, oh, I can't have this happen. I need this so I can beat the drum. We don't have people that are really trying to solve the economic problems because then we don't need all of those people. We don't have problem solvers trying to solve problems. All of us should be trying to solve problems. And any time that I'm teaching negotiation, which I do with people in general, I do it with law enforcement, I do it with the FBI, I do it with all kinds of law enforcement. I say, if you're negotiating, the first thing you should do is say, let's talk about what we agree on. Before we talk about our difference, let's talk about what we agree on. And you know, that list gets pretty long. We're a divided country right now. But if people would sit down and say, first, let's talk about what we agree on. Don't we all want a great America? Don't we all want a safe America? Don't we all want a prosperous America? I mean, don't we all, there are so many things that we agree we want. It's just a difference of how to get there. Let's agree on what we want. One of the most important days in our history was 9/12. Not 9/11, 9/12. Because on 9/12, we were all Americans. We were all Americans on 9/12. I don't want there to have to be another 9/11 to remind us that we are all Americans. Let's just decide we're all Americans and then work out our differences once we've agreed we're all Americans.
That's exactly right. The third is good, isn't it? And smart and makes you think. The third thing in your principles for a healthy society or healthy anything else is, by the way, this is good. If you're taking notes, write this down. Consciously choose which voices in your life deserve the most attention.
You know why I wrote that in there? Would you like to know?
What do you think?
Work with me here. You're supposed to say yes.
Absolutely.
When I was about 14 and a half, I was arguing with the pastor in our church. And it wasn't on a Sunday, because when I was that age, we had to go to church every time the door opened. We had to go on Wednesday night. We had to go Sunday morning. We had to go Sunday night. Every time the door opened, my mother was like, you can't keep playing. You got to go to church. I go, oh, great. Let's go. The other side of the parking lot, there was a Dairy Queen, so I go in the front door and then go out the back and go over to the Dairy Queen. Just being honest. So I was arguing with the pastor about why I needed to come all the time. I said, I can't add 2 and 2 and get 5 every time. Terrible at math, but I read real fast. So I read the Bible when I was like 14, and which is apparently a pretty big thing because a lot of people haven't read the Bible. But I can read real fast and remember a whole lot of stuff. And so I was telling him, look, I don't need to come every Sunday because I already know what you're going to say. I've read the book.
Kevin's kids tell us the same thing. So.
He was a pretty cool guy, and so he put up with my smart mouth. And I said, oh, and by the way, all of this stuff about you hear God talking to you and all that, I said, I don't ever hear God talking to me. And he said, well, as seldom as you talk to him, how would you ever recognize his voice? I said, all right, that was a pretty good one. And that really came back to me when I was working on these principles about you really have to pay attention to what voices you hear. And right now we have a lot of shrill voices in our society. And you can't pay the most attention to the loudest voice. Maybe the loudest voice is also the right voice, but maybe it's not. You need to not confuse volume with validity. And I always say to parents, you're not going to be the only voice in your child's ear, so you need to make sure you are the best voice in your child's ear. Be the best voice. They're going to be getting stuff off of TikTok. They're going to be getting stuff off of out of their friends. They're going to all that. You're not going to be the only voice. Be the best voice they hear. Make sure that you have an open connection. You ever watch these medical shows on TV and they're throwing all this medical lingo around? How many times have you heard them say when they roll somebody into the ER, they say, all right, get them in here and start an IV with Ringer's lactate. Does anybody know what that is? Nobody knows. That's just something they say. You know what it is? It's water. It's saline. And you know why they do that? They're getting a vein open, so when they figure out what they need, all they have to do is plug it in. But it's already open. That's what we need to do with our kids. We need to talk to our children about things that don't matter. Talk to your children about things that don't matter. Because when it comes time to talk to them about things that do matter, that lane will be open and it won't seem so awkward. That will be a well-beaten path.
Good.
That will be such a well-beaten path that it won't seem strange. You will already have that dialogue going with them, and they won't be saying, why do you care about me now? You never cared about me before. You didn't care about me when I was trying to tell you about my video game. You didn't care about me when I was trying to tell you about what happened at practice. Yes, you did. Talk to them about stupid stuff. And I had more meaningful conversations with my boys shooting a game of horse out in the driveway with basketball than sitting down with them like this where they felt conspicuous. Be smart, be creative, meet them where they are. Don't expect them to meet you where you are. And I say that to churches every chance I get. The church needs to work on meeting all of the congregants, all the parishioners where they are instead of asking them to meet the church where they are. We've got to take the message to the people, not ask the people to come to the message. That's how we get this back going in America. For the first time in our country's history, church membership has dropped below 50%. We need to work on being relevant. And we can do that by becoming a voice they hear.
Oh, that's good.
So Phil, if somebody only knows about you via TikTok or via the surface level, they might think this next one is surprising. But if they read you, they'll hear it all the time. And that is the empathy that underlies the advice that you're giving, which flows from the fourth principle, work hard to understand the way others see things. Talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, you know, we really need to work on our listening skills. Don't you think? I mean, you don't need to buy this book to know that.
But you can. $20 out in the foyer. Cash or credit.
Conveniently placed next to Kevin's books.
Shameless plug. But no, seriously, it's really important that we listen to what other people are saying. Because if you listen, they will tell you how to succeed with them. They will tell you how to succeed with them. I told you I work a lot with law enforcement, and which is why, like yesterday and last night, no interviews were given by law enforcement on anything with regard to UCLA or what was going to happen or what was happening, except for me, because they know I got their back and I'm not going to do something sensational to damage them. So nobody in America had any interviews with law enforcement last night, and we spent like 6 hours with them. And they were telling us everything that was happening, gave us interviews on camera, the whole thing. And I work with law enforcement, and I work with them on everything from interrogation, deception detection, to hostage negotiation. And you know the number one rule in working with someone that has taken hostages? The number one predictor of whether you're going to get hostages back alive is if you can make the hostage taker believe that you understand why they took those hostages to begin with. Doesn't matter why they did it. It matters that they get that you understand why they did it, whether it was political, domestic violence, whatever. If they get that you understand why they did this, that's your best chance of getting them back alive. They want to be heard. Don't you? Don't you want to be heard? If your goal in an argument with your spouse is to win, you've already lost. If your goal is to be heard, you've already won. But you also have to be willing to hear. You got to be willing to hear. You don't even need to resolve it then. Just all I ask is, did you hear me? And I'll hear you, and then we'll sit with that. It doesn't need to be a win-lose situation, because that's lose-lose. Think about the banners at high school. Smash the Falcons. You don't want that. You don't want a win-lose situation with your partner. You want to be heard. And to do that, you have to be willing to listen. And if they know you've heard them, that's your best chance of getting out alive. And that's what you want to do.
This is good. I'm going to ask, Kevin and I are going to ask a couple questions on behalf of all of you. Okay, this is a conference of leaders. Everybody in here is leading something. Most people leading things have had a brutal last 4 years. And most people's stress level that are leading anything is much higher than if they weren't doing anything. Make sense? What would you say is the best advice for these folks on how to deal with stress?
Well, first off, there's a difference between stress and distress. If you have a job without stress, you ain't got a job. Okay? Really. If you got a job without stress, somebody's just paying you to show up. You don't really have a job that matters. Nothing you do counts. You don't have a job.
Oh, I'm stressed.
Yeah. In that case, you're still employed.
So, really, if it's, look, we don't respond in life to what happens. We respond in life to violation of our expectations. Now, think about that for a second. We don't respond to what happens. We respond to violations of our expectations. You mentioned that I'm a pilot, and I got my license when I was a teenager. And so did my older sister. She wasn't still a teenager, but she got her license too. And my instructor said, we're going to fly in all conditions because I know you, and I know when you get your license, you will fly in all conditions. So I'm going to teach you to fly in all conditions. And it would be like 35-mile-an-hour gust and bumpy and all that. And I said, we're going to fly today? You bet. Get out here. And we'd go out there, and it would be like, you know, the wild mouse at the amusement park, but we'd go fly. My sister, on the other hand, it had to be severe clear and dead calm. And she never left the pattern. She would fly around in the pattern. And so she never had an expectation. And one time, she was with me and my instructor, actually, and we hit some pretty severe turbulence, and she never flew again. It broke my heart, but she never flew again. It wasn't unsafe, but it violated her expectations. And you have to ask yourself, what are my expectations? If your expectations are, hey, this is going to be a cakewalk. It's like you get married. If your expectations is your wife's going to meet you at the back door naked with a martini every day.
Hold on. How can I get this down?
That's Friends, Partners, and Lovers, available in the bookstore for $19.95.
Yeah. I thought it was your new book, Friends, Martinis, and Lovers.
Yeah. That's not going to happen. And if you expect that, then you're going to go, oh my God, my marriage is a wreck. No, it's not. Your marriage is actually sharing time, space, money. And so you get there and you go, yeah, that's what you expected. You go, yeah, that's what it's supposed to be. So we're doing good. If you go to your job and you have stress, yeah, okay, you got stress. It's distress. It's when your body starts to break down. It's when your mental and emotional status starts to deteriorate. That's the difference. Stress is your body's reaction to stressors. There are going to be stressors. It's your body's reaction to it, and you need to take care of it. You need to get away from it. You need to take care of yourself mentally, emotionally, physically, socially, spiritually. You need to be sure you're feeding yourself spiritually. You need to be sure you're feeding yourself mentally and emotionally. Stress isn't a bad thing. It just means you're alive. It means you're doing something that counts. It's how you label it. Your internal dialogue matters. Be careful what you're saying to yourself. That's all I have to say.
Oh, that's good. We got one more question, how do I ask this?
You're really good at this.
At your age and stage.
You're really good at this, asking these questions. They're very thoughtful. Thank you.
I just took them out of your book. That was very easy. I felt the same way about your book, by the way.
That's why they sounded so good.
Yeah, well, it's the first time we've heard the word naked and martini at a Thrive conference, but honey, we'll work on it. Okay, so how do I say this? At your age and stage, our age and stage, most people are like, okay, retired, be all about myself for the rest of my life. You were the opposite of all about yourself, okay? Matter of fact, you're going to take the biggest risk you've ever taken and launch the biggest thing you've ever launched, and you're the beginnings of that now. It's Merritt Street Media. It's a new TV and broadcast network. Your show is now there. This is clearly not about yourself. Why are you going after this stuff, and what's propelling you to do this?
Well, there have been some times in the last 6 months I've asked myself that question. The hell are you doing? Listen, I spent 21 years doing Dr. Phil on CBS, and I'm very proud of what we did. We did over 3,500 shows. We had over 20,000 guests, and we were number one for the last, I think, 12 or 13 years. And people asked me, what was your secret to getting to number one? And I said, I got her to quit. That was the deal. I got Oprah to retire. I was number two for 8 or 9 years, and I talked her into quitting. Became number one. But I'm really proud of what we did. I think we moved the mental health and the willingness to talk about it openly to the forefront of the narrative in America. I think we made it okay to talk about that without shame. But things changed across time. The questions that we got across time changed. Because about 08, 09, they dropped the smartphone on everybody. And children, for example, stopped living their own lives and started watching people live their lives. And the year after that smartphone dropped, we saw spikes in anxiety, depression, and loneliness went to the highest levels since records began being kept. And it has continued to rise since then. Technology is great, but there are unintended consequences. And that phone can be very toxic. And it starts spewing a lot of bad information and guiding people in the wrong direction. And I have seen a lot of conspiracy theory, a lot of bad ideology, and I think that it has really eroded family and family values. We used to say, don't let the television be an electronic babysitter. Well, now the average person checks their phone 352 times a day. Young people encounter an online predator within minutes of being on their phone when they're moving around. And this is just one of the things. But it's given a lot of these fringe thinkers a huge audience. And I think that I'm seeing trends in this country that people need to stand up and talk about. But they're afraid to do so because if you say anything about some of this fringe ideology, then people are afraid of getting canceled. They're afraid of getting labeled as a hater or phobic in some way. And I would so much rather have questions I can't answer than answers I can't question. And right now, we have answers we can't question. And somebody needs to speak up about that. And one of those somebodies is going to be me. And so I've launched this new network to do that. This new network is based on family values. It's based on core values that family is built on. It's based on rewarding hard work and values and all the things that we hold to be near and dear to its faith and family and hard work and merit. And I'm very proud of that. And we're just getting started. We need all the support we can get. And I just ask people to answer 2 questions. One, ask yourself, am I delivering the right message? And 2, am I the right messenger? And if the answer to those 2 questions is yes, then find Merit Street Media and support us by watching and tell everybody you know to find it, and we will succeed.
And for the 350th time in the last hour, grab out your phone, okay? Take it right now. The QR code is on the big screen. Go ahead and grab it, okay? And by the way, to wrap this up, first of all, Zach Flagg, are you in here? Is that a yes? Nope, it was a nice try. I want to wrap this up by saying, Kevin, any reflections you got? I've got one just to wrap this up.
Well, I think in some ways, first of all, you described earlier on the life of the pastorate of the idea of I don't think anybody could be more screwed up, and then it happened again. So that was interesting to see that commonality, but the succinctness with which you communicate smart truth. As a communicator, that's what I took away. How can I on a Sunday? How can I in a blog post, in a video? As communicators, as leaders, it's one thing to have the truth. It's another thing to communicate it in a way that people understand. I'm going to credit that to Oklahoma.
People from where we're from know the value of a dollar. They know the value of hard work, and they get to the point. I know a lot of big words. I just try not to use them.
Yeah. There you go.
The thing I want to wrap up with is this. First of all, I want to say 2 things. Number one is the last election cycle we just had. The one thing you learned was all of the centrists lost, all of them. In other words, every single thing on the right or the left was won by an extremist. That's going to make our country the divided states of America. And we can have different opinions, but what I appreciate about you is this. You're going, we could be in different places opinion-wise. It doesn't mean I'm going to divide from you or treat you badly. Including, we're backstage, and you're just fun to be with. Like, we're at a ball. We almost didn't come out. We went, hey, let's watch a video. It was so much fun hanging out backstage. And so I want to thank you for representing your faith and values in a way that hopefully turns all Americans on instead of unnecessarily turning them off, which I think should be our goal of spreading the good news of Jesus Christ in this country. So, thank you. So, it was great.
Thank you so much.
Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Phil. That was outstanding.
No. Nope.
Hey, one thing, while you're standing, one thing I want you to do, obviously out in the bookstore, we can take credit card, but everybody has a $20 bill stuck somewhere for emergencies. With this many people, the easiest way to get Phil's book is as you leave, take that $20, hand it to the person, grab a book, and we can filter a lot of people through. I think there's a lot of wisdom and truth that you're going to want to get, and we only did 5 of the 10. We saved the best 5 for the book.
That's right. By the way, go ahead and have a seat. Go ahead and have a seat. Thank you, Dr. Phil. All right. These are in the bookstore. As Kevin said, the list price on this is $35. We bought them in bulk. You can buy them for $20. Okay. You can go out there. If you got $20 cash, you just go hand them. And if you got $100, hand them it. Take 5. Okay.
Wow, they're ready. They already know what's coming.
We wanted, everybody's pointing at you and your entire thing. Here you go. Congratulations.
Yeah, will y'all get out of here, please? Thank you. Give it up for that. Okay, Leslie, we got a few things we got to do leading to a pretty big moment and a pretty big giveaway.
That's right.
There you are. Yep.
You guys do not leave. We have a giveaway and we have a big moment that you don't want to miss. This is like the moment of the conference.
May or may not involve Dr. Phil.
It may or may not. May or may not.
May or may not. Here we go.
No. Okay, so we thought, you guys are big Dr. Phil fans, right, in our luxury box? You know what? So we thought since you couldn't get your stuff signed, we thought we'd give you guys ice cream. We got Haagen-Dazs ice cream for our
Provided
2
by-
luxury boxes.
Hey, can we give a shout out? Rayleigh's literally gave us this Haagen-Dazs ice cream and
That's
donated
right.
it. But it's not just for the luxury box, is it?
No, but... Excuse...
I want ice cream.
What?
Sir?
Hey,
Yeah?
I said I want some ice cream.
Yeah.
Where are you from?
I drove all the way across the country not to hear Dr. Phil, but to get me some ice cream.
It's
Every year we get ice cream. You're telling me it's just for them?
It's one of our friends from Tennessee.
Yeah, one of the cowards we talked about earlier.
How do you know I'm from Tennessee?
Do you think we
The
owe you
moment.
ice cream?
Absolutely. Hell yeah, get me some ice cream.
Well,
if Dr. Phil can say
I mean,
it,
does the
get
rest of
me
the room
some
want ice cream?
Does anybody else want ice cream? We can give out ice cream.
Yeah.
All right, ice cream for
Ice
everybody.
cream for everybody
Roll
on
it up.
Rayleigh's.
All right, as our wonderful Thrive students are passing out this ice cream, you guys.
Oh no, Leslie, we need their attention.
Oh, this is a big
They are
moment.
passing out ice cream, but we need your attention while they pass it out. What is that sound?
I don't know, but I like it. It's an ice
Because
cream
we
song.
need, we're about to play the game of the century here at Bayside.
Yes. I just want to know, Brandon, right now it feels like we got ice cream going on. It's like a night you're with friends. To me, this feels like my Monday nights.
Yes, minus the cigar and pokers.
No, minus like the reality television that I watch
Right.
when I eat ice cream with my friends on Mondays.
What type of reality TV do you watch on Monday?
I don't know, like The Bachelor, Bachelorette, Golden Bachelor, any really dating reality
Love
TV
Island.
show.
Yeah, right.
So I think what's going to happen here is we need to maybe do a little dating, the Thrive's first ever dating show.
First ever dating game show. Yes, we have played this game and we have seen 6 couples get married by playing this game.
We're not lying.
And that is not
lying.
a facade, that is not a cliche. So, we need a few men in here between the ages of 18 and 25 years old. Listen,
18 and
you
25.
cannot be dating somebody.
That's right.
Listen, be quiet! Single, 18 to 25. You gotta love Jesus. You gotta have a job.
Okay, Brandon. Brandon,
All
I
right.
think we need to do we need to go in the crowd and see who it is?
We need 3. I'm looking for a guy named Trevor. Where is Trevor?
Okay, we need Trevor. I see him in the stripe. Trevor?
You see Trevor?
Trent?
Trent. Do you see him?
Yeah, he's down. Come on up. Come on up.
Trent, you come on down. All right, how many? Hey, who else we got? Single men.
I don't want to leave. You know what? I'm gonna. Should we run into the crowd? Fine.
Yeah, let's run into the crowd.
We gotta vet these people
All
because
right, I
this
need a
girl
single
is
man
awesome.
on this side. Who are you pointing at? I need hands up. You? Are you single?
All right.
Are you dateable? Leslie, you got somebody over there?
Are you single?
Yes, I am single.
Do you have a job?
I do have a job.
Okay, all right, that's good
Come on
enough
up.
for me. Brandon, I got one.
I got one too, and I'm looking for one more. Does anybody else single, but they got a job and they're dateable?
Yes.
Why is everybody pointing at this guy?
All right.
Leslie, do we think we
Here.
just give this guy a chance?
You know what? I think because he wants it so bad, let's do it.
I can't hear you, Les. Where are you?
Over here. I'm running up.
Who's Joey?
Oh, they're getting a Joey
You want to do
chant.
it? You want to get it?
Yeah, let's do it.
Come on up. Come on up, come on up, come on up.
All right, follow me.
This is absolute madness, Les.
This is Thrive Bachelorette, everybody. We're making history right now. You can take a seat on one of these stools right here,
Where's Trent?
facing the crowd. All right, take a seat. Take a seat. No, you're good, you're good. All right, tell us your name.
Creighton.
Creighton. That's a cool
Creighton,
name.
what's your job?
I work for a catering company as a server.
Love it?
Nice.
What's your credit score?
1,700.
We shouldn't have picked him.
That's
He doesn't even
not
know
a
what a
credit
credit score is. All right, give me your name.
I'm Trenton.
Trenton, what's your job?
I'm a youth pastor.
Oh, nice.
So is it safe to say you believe in Jesus?
That's pretty safe, yeah.
Okay, safe to say so far. What's your credit score?
I don't know, like 700 something?
Oh, 700.
Nice.
Not bad. He can get a house loan. What's your name?
Noe.
Listen, I don't know literally what the flip is going on, but you were a crowd favorite. Give me one reason why that would be.
Because I'm Noe.
Because he's a what?
Because he's Noe. What's your
Oh,
credit score?
oh.
I don't do credit.
Dave Ramsey, cash
That's right,
only.
no credit card.
Lame.
No credit cards.
All right, are we going to bring our lady out?
You know what? I think we should. But
Hey, you guys don't get to see her, but crowd, you get to see her. Would you welcome to the stage
Olivia.
Olivia?
Come on out, Olivia. Take a seat. She is our girl. And you know, we got some great guys over here, Olivia. How are you feeling right now?
Pretty good.
Yeah?
Do you feel at all nervous, Olivia?
A little nervous.
A little nervous? Yeah, a little nervous? Listen, we might get you married today, Olivia.
That's right. All right, so we got a series of questions, Olivia, for the guys. And we're gonna ask them those questions. They each get to answer, and you get to give them points. So at the end, we'll see who has the most points. Does that sound good?
Sounds great.
All right.
All right, Les, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
All right, Olivia, remember the contestant numbers, okay? Contestant number 1, go-to karaoke song.
Kiss You by One Direction.
One Direction.
So yes, there's modulation on their voices because voices can be attractive, am I right? So we're trying to blend that in. All right, go-to karaoke song, contestant number 2.
I don't know, something Justin Bieber.
Something Justin Bieber.
Bieber.
All right, contestant number 3, go-to karaoke song.
Bésame Mucho by Andrea Bocelli.
Wait, what was that?
Bésame Mucho. It's a Spanish song.
Oh.
It's a Spanish.
Okay, sweet. Awesome.
It's a Spanish song, Olivia. Hey, Olivia, who are you giving the winner of that to, of those 3 answers?
Yeah. First guy, second guy, or third guy?
Okay, so all the answers were great, but I think I'm gonna have to go with the second guy.
Yeah.
Ooh, Justin Bieber.
I also would go with the second guy myself, Les.
Oh.
Sorry. All right, you want to ask the next one?
Yes, I will.
And I'll
okay.
ask Olivia what her favorite is.
What's a weird talent you have or a party trick?
Ooh, I can sometimes do a cartwheel.
A cartwheel.
A cartwheel? Okay, he can do a cartwheel. Cool. Next.
All right, contestant 2.
Whoop-de-doo.
Oh man. Shoot, I don't know. Maybe back in the day, I used to whip a scooter.
Whip a
He's
scooter.
gonna whip a scooter.
Wow, that's
Number
a
3?
talent.
Dang. I can play any instrument you give me.
You can play an instrument.
That is a
So
confident answer.
You've got a guy that can do a cartwheel, you got a guy that could whip a scooter, and you got a guy that can play an instrument like every
no,
other fifth
Brandon.
grader.
Any instrument, he said. Any instrument.
He's saying he's a savant?
Yes.
Like a Mozart?
Any instrument.
Okay,
He's
and the
trying to
other
win
guy is
Olivia.
Mozart reincarnate. So pick your 1, 2, or 3.
Ooh. I think I'll have to go.
No, what do you want? You tell him what you want.
Okay. I think I'll have to go with number 3 on this one.
Oh my gosh.
Number 3? Number
All
3.
right. All right, question number 3, and this is where the thing really gets intensified, okay? Are you ready? What's your body count? Kidding.
Brandon.
Dog, the whole crowd froze.
You're
Les.
fired again. You're
Yeah.
fired again.
Okay, here we go. Real one. What's your irrational fear? Like you were actually scared to death of this.
Women.
He said women.
Contestant number 1 was women, which makes him a great contestant for the game. Number 2?
I think this moment right here.
This moment.
This moment right here is his irrational fear. Number 3, Mozart, Beethoven in the flesh.
Bees.
Bees. Like bumblebees, like stinging
bees.
bumblebees.
Oh, it's women.
All right, what's her pick, Les?
Oh, number 2.
Number 2. Who now has 2 points? I think we give
That's
him
a
one
good
more
choice.
question and let's figure this out.
All right. Who did you vote for in the election? No, just kidding. All right.
In 2020,
Our
we won the
last one.
2020 election. Were you able to vote in the 2020 election?
No. Okay, good answer. All right.
Kids these days.
What is your best pickup line?
Oh, send it.
I'll have to go with, so I was just reading my Bible and I was looking in the book of Numbers and I just realized I didn't have yours.
Oh, that is good.
Turn up. Turn up. He's getting a standing ovation.
No, sit down, sit down.
Dude, he can't buy tobacco or a lottery ticket. He can't vote, but he was on top with that, yo. That was sick.
He's like, credit store, no idea, but this one I got it. Okay, contestant number 2.
I don't even know. I can't follow that.
He's humble.
He's humble, he can't follow it. He
Say
said
it again.
he doesn't have one. He said he
He's
can't
actually
follow it. He's
like-
humble.
Vote number 2, who's got the most votes, is actually tapping. He can't.
Maybe he's confident.
He
Maybe
can't
he's
hang.
like-
Okay, go to number 3.
all right, number 3.
He can play any instrument except the strings of a girl's heart.
Bésame mucho. I don't know.
Wait, what'd you say?
I said bésame mucho.
What did you say?
I'm speaking Spanish.
Oh, he's speaking Spanish. Okay, his pickup line is speaking Spanish.
All right.
So at least he's bilingual. I mean, that's dope.
All right, I think I'm going to have to go with number 1 on this.
100%. I
That was
opened to the
good.
book of Numbers and realized I didn't
Brandon.
have yours.
Brandon, do we give her a question that she wants to ask
Yeah, I
them?
think we have to because right now it's 1-2-1. It's really a tight race, so you need to kind of be the one that swings the odds. What is
That's
the
right.
question on your heart?
Are you a cat or dog person?
Oh,
I do think that should make the decision.
Factor.
Mr. Numbers Man, cat or dog?
We all know cats ain't going to heaven, so I'm going with dog.
He said, we all know cats ain't going to heaven. I'm going with dogs. Number 2.
Yeah, I'm also a dog person. Also a dog person.
Person. Don't do it to me. I'm not part of the game.
I love dogs. Dogs.
Okay. They're all dogs, so we're going to have a different question.
All dogs.
A little bit harder question.
All right. Which one?
Maybe she could ask, are you rich?
She said all of them get a point. All of them get a point.
All right, so is she ready to just make a decision?
Are you ready
has
to make
she
your
heard
decision?
enough? Is she?
She's shaking her head no, but
You don't think you're ready?
here's the problem. At the end of a reality TV show, there's got to be an end, so you got to pick.
Yeah, I think we just gotta make her pick. You ready to pick? Okay, before you pick, should we tell them what they're gonna do? Before you pick, what we didn't tell anybody before they got started was we have a reservation already booked at McCooney down the street. Back room, it's already paid for, but one of our camera crew's going with you. You do not get to drive separate. We have a chauffeur outside.
A chauffeur.
And as soon as this is over, we are escorting you and y'all are gone. Okay? Pick your person.
All right, what do you think, Olivia?
All right.
What is up with y'all? Let this girl pick.
Okay, you all had great answers.
Yeah?
But I think I'm gonna have to go with number 2.
Number 2! All right,
Come on up. Come on up. Hey, great
Olivia.
pickup line. Terrible credit score.
Meet your match.
Great job, I guess. You know?
You guys, thanks for playing. And you know what? Have fun at McCooney.
Hey, take them. They're not going back to their people. Take them on out of here.
Okay.
Here we go. Yep, all right.
All right,
Man,
you guys.
That was crazy. Hey, crowd, can I tell you this? We're going to video them. Leslie and I are going to drop in and interview them in the middle of the dinner. And then we will come back tomorrow morning and report on how it went. So
We are doing footage like The Bachelor, and we will report back tomorrow.
We will
on how
report
the date
back.
went.
And if it works, we might play again. Who knows? If it doesn't, we might never play it again. So
That's right.
what do we got to tell them right before they leave?
Yes, a couple announcements. Reminder, you'll be back tonight, but just a reminder, breakouts are tomorrow at 8:30. So start looking at the breakouts, what you want to come to. So that will be there. Dinner is also going to be outside on the basketball courts. We've got food trucks again, so make sure you grab some dinner before you come back for our evening session.
100%.
We've also got the pastor's leader lunch.
Tomorrow at noon.
Tomorrow at noon, so mark your calendars for that. We've also have the comedy night tonight.
Do not miss that for any
You guys,
reason.
First of all, do we say who's opening or do we just
You
leave
tell
it?
them who's opening. I think you should.
We have Kurt Harlow doing his first stand-up comedy. Actually, not first. He's done it before, probably.
Probably not.
Probably not, but he's amazing and so funny.
Yes.
Kurt Harlow's opening. Adrian Neufeld is opening, and then Andrew Stanley is bringing our comedy night, and he is hilarious, and you do not want to miss
If
that.
you have too much joy in your life and you're already having too much fun and you couldn't use any more, don't come. But for the
That's
rest
right.
of us, we'll be here.
That's right.
7 o'clock tonight. Prayer team after this session and tonight's session over here in the corner as well, and be back tonight for Mark Clark at 7. But now we got some stuff to give away.
Yes,
So
we do.
again, shout out to Lionsgate. We got another iPad, another watch, and another set of headphones. If you're not here and you already left, sucks to suck. Here we go. First person. iPad is Philip Marks in this room.
Philip Marks. Oh,
Are
he's
you?
right over there. Come
Philip
on
Marks,
down.
get on down here.
Yes.
All right, for the Apple Watch, Les.
We've
Pick
got
any of those names.
Justin Reed. Oh, that sounds
Justin
like
Reed
Justin
has already left.
is not here.
All right, then let's go with Elijah Lebowski. He is already also not here. He passed. He passed. All right, here we go.
We
How about
have,
Sean Savage?
yes.
There we go, Sean Savage.
Apple Watch for you. What a savage.
What a savage.
I'm sure you've never heard that one before.
All right, I think we go with this lady to end it.
Okay, Amelia Sanchez.
For the AirPod
Amelia!
Pros, Amelia Sanchez.
Come on down.
All right,
right.
remember, everybody, get out there, bookstore, Batterson's Books, everybody you've heard from, their books are going to be outside. We will see you back here at 7 tonight.
That's right.
See you soon. See you soon.
What did he say? What did he say? All right. We're ready to rock? Hey. You could just turn my guitar up for me, man. Just a little bit more of my acoustic, please. Thank you, sir. Hey, you want to play Mario? Yeah. Have a seat on the ground.
The one that rose again and lives today, the one that is coming back. Ladies and gentlemen, Jesus Christ is the Prince of Peace.